Welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a successful podcaster. People, successful six podcasts. One of the best podcasts in the world. And of course, an author too, Mr. Roy Coughlan.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, Daniel.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Roy. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
So, I'm Irish from Cork in Ireland, which is in the south of Ireland. And I moved 18 years ago to a place called Łódź in Poland, which is in the center of Poland.
Yes. So, Mr. Roy Cullen, thank you so much for empowering us through your podcast as well as your upcoming book, New World Revolution. Let's talk about it. So, what does New World Revolution, the awakening, reveal about corruption in government and corporations?
So, the kind of purpose of the book is not only exposing what's going on, but looking for solutions, because there's plenty of books out there that are kind of saying what's going on. There's plenty of shows going on that I don't think they're actually helping us. They're, putting us in a bad state of mind. So I'm purpose is to let people know what's going on and how you can actually make things better in the world.
Certainly, to make a better place to live. So, how does the book define the awakening in the context of global issues?
Well, like you with the picture there, it's The Awakening is a podcast that I've got, and the book actually came out before that. And through my journey, I lost everything. So when the crisis happened in the States in 2008, it took a bit longer to come across. And I was actually doing very well in Poland, but I had a few syndicates and they started getting in trouble and they ended up losing everything. And eventually, because I was funding a few of the projects, I started running out of money. And through that journey of losing everything, I saw the amount of corruption, which kind of fueled me then to expose what was going on so that I could tell people how to protect themselves instead of thinking that this is the way it is, because everyone has a battle that they're going through and they're normally ashamed to kind of say what's going on, hence why they're attacked by institutions who treat them so bad and do, go against GDPR and pretend they have warrants and stuff like that and end up taking their assets and then make them financially liable. So my whole purpose was to kind of help them protect themselves. And also I cover a lot of health as well, because, in order to be free and be sovereign, it's from within. So a lot of times we kind of, we bow to the policeman, we bow to the judge, we're kind of, even in school, we were told, teacher walks in, you stand up, we start school at 4. It's like, why are we doing that? It's like kind of training you to be into a corporation and then training for authority when we were born free. So why does people think that they have control over us? And I cover a lot of things. So like, for example, even charities, a load of people, they don't like what's going on in the world, so they donate to charities. A lot of people actually give their time and people donate their hard-earned cash to the charities. And what I found out is a lot of the charities don't actually give the money to the charity. It's more admin, or the guy at the top is making a couple of million. So you don't want to give say if you're donating $100, you don't want to be giving $99 for admin and one buck towards the charity. And there was a few that I saw, like the Clinton Foundation, it was 3% is actually what they were donating. And like, that's a massive one. People know about that. So in the book, I had the statistics of one of the years showing all the figures and the admin. So the amount of people that were needed to raise this money. So I don't think people would be donating for that. So there's a a link that's showing how you can check this out, and what way you can find out who's a good charity. I mean, you have to allow for admin. Maybe some do it at 5%, say even up to 15%. You can accept that, because you can't expect them to run a non-profit on their own funds, because that's not self-sustaining. So it's okay to have an admin fee. But like what some of the companies do, they're posting out stuff, and they're posting out stuff that people don't really need, like envelopes and different things for the charity, and they know that most of them just throw it in the bin, but a percentage will actually pay, and it works out that by the numbers that they get a return on their investment. And that's such a waste of resources and assets. So look at the charity that you're donating to, and even some of the famous people, like one of them, I think it was 1.8 million that they raised, and 5,000, just over 5,000 went to the charity. So you would never assume something like that can happen, but just be aware of it. And then also look at, say, what a charity is standing for and what they've actually done. If they're supposed to be curing something or doing anything like that, have they really? So there is people that are really doing good for the world, even creating water in parts of Africa or building schools and everything. So by donating to the proper charities, you'll actually make a bigger impact in society, instead of funding a Ferrari and a helicopter for somebody else.
Truly, people, just like my Book 101 Foundation, I'm helping less fortunate children all over the world, especially in Nigeria and the Philippines. So, what are the major broken systems the book address?
There's a lot, to be honest. It's kind of like when people say to me, "What's the secret sauce for podcasting?" They expect one answer, and is not. There's a lot of different things. So if we look at the health side of things, for example, like women, all the makeup they put on, the lipstick and everything, it's full of toxins, and most of them don't even realize that. The underarm deodorant, that blocks the pores, hence can cause cancers, breast cancer. And you can get natural. There's like the crystals that will actually help to do that, and check the makeup. I even had a specialist, a chemist, on one of my shows about the lip balm. And you would just assume lip balm is okay, it's natural. And no, there's a load of toxins in that as well. So I kind of talk about all the foods, like soap, shampoo, and things like that. When you wash your hair, you have a lovely head of hair. You're used to the lather, all the foam and everything.
Yes.
And that's not natural. Sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a degreaser, and it's not good for you. And they know that. But yet you think because it's foaming, it's good. So you can buy shampoos without all these toxins and everything. You can buy soap without these toxins. Like with the floor, when I mop the floor here, I use natural stuff. There's a company that I get my stuff from. But like, you could get your products for cleaning the floor, and your dog is walking around, it's going into him. Hence why dogs are dying a lot faster now. They're getting a lot of diseases, as opposed to in my era, in the 70s, because there's so much toxins in it. And why use that? The same with dishwasher tablets and the soap and stuff like that you use. So I tell people, don't be overwhelmed with all the changes that you can do, because if you do that, you'll do nothing. You can do one a week. And like this, the revised thing will be, I'm trying to get this done in English, but there's an app that I use here, and I can scan the food, and the food actually tells me what's in it and what's bad. And that makes it easy, because you're better off actually eating just natural ingredients, because there's even trickery in the food that says natural this. It can have 3% natural, and they're allowed to use the word natural. Even in the organic, there's so much trickery with the organic. Like, they can have all the chickens in a warehouse, open the door for 10 minutes, and if they go out, that's classed as organic. So, and the same with, like, say, the eggs. You've all the numbering of the eggs. I'm not sure what way. In Europe, it's kind of like 1, 2, and 3, 0. And with the 3, it's like their beak is cut, they're put in a cage like that. So the stress that's on that bird, And they're the cheap eggs. And even if you go into a restaurant, it's most of the time they're the kind of eggs that you're getting. So a lot of people think, oh, eggs are good for me, I can get that. But what are they feeding the birds? Are they injecting them with a lot of toxins? And are the birds under stress? Whereas you
That's
can go, like, I get my eggs from a farmer, and I can see the birds just, free range, and there's such a difference. And you might think, oh, it's very hard for me to do that. But if you start asking around, you'll find somebody that can do it. But just be careful, because with the trickery again, I heard of people that they had the eggs that were number 3, and they scrubbed off the numbers on them and pretended they were free range and just made them a bit dirty. So try to find somebody that you can trust that will actually help you get the product. And like there's a lot of things like that, like, even say the clothes, there's frequency in clothes. So before, linen was used in the hospitals because of the frequency of it. They took that out. And even if you look into hospitals, like, I mean, I was in the hospital when I was younger, a few times, a few different operations, and they constantly wake you up. They're waking up at 5 or 6 in the morning to check your temperature and everything. What's the one thing that you need when you're sick that heals you? Is sleep. But they don't allow that. They have the lights on all the time. They're just constantly waking you up. So they know that. So it's kind of, take control yourself. Stop just thinking this is how it is. And same with children, assuming that the teachers have the best interest at heart. Find out what they're doing, what they're teaching them, because there's a lot of craziness going on at the moment. You need to go in and check exactly what kind of books they're reading, what the teacher is doing. But a lot of people don't, because they kind of treat it like a babysitting service and put it in. One of the other things I cover is the EU, because a lot of people think the EU is great. And, when the UK got, Brexit came out of it, oh, such a terrible thing. But there was an Irish MEP, and he basically recorded, which he wasn't supposed to do, but he did it. And I think he was brilliant to do this, how they're actually passing bills. They have to go into a room with no windows around. They're not allowed to record it. And they're accompanied by somebody. They can't dictate it. They can make a few notes. And that's what's the system for using to pass bills. That's not a normal system. When you hear that, like, there's something going on, that they don't want someone to state exactly what this bill is about, so that a good MEP will share the information and there would be uproar with the people. But that's not the way it's done. It's all kind of hush hush. And how can that system be good? So, yeah, that's just some of the things that I've covered.
certainly. Totally agree, Mr. Roy. Awareness. Be aware, people, of what you're doing. So, how does the book differentiate between conspiracy theories and verifiable corruption?
The conspiracy theory came from the CIA when the JFK killing. So that was basically, they put that out there because people were kind of speculating what really happened. So now that term in the last kind of 10 years is just, everybody says, oh, that's a conspiracy. The stuff that I'm writing about is not. It's fact. And, like, I've had a lot of doctors and scientists on my show, but even before that, like, I read over 100 books. And like what I say, even on my shows when I'm doing a podcast, I tell people, don't believe what I've said. Do your own research. And the scary thing now is with, say, AI, you'll see loads of people doing a recording. Hey, Alexa, what's da 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 da? Or they're asking AI, and look what it gave me. And they're taking it as gospel, as if just because the AI said that, it's true. And it's very important with search engines, AI and everything. One, which one you use, because I use Brave. I think the rest are infiltrated. And they're like, if you ask about, say, 5G or chemtrails or something like that, and irrespective of your belief system of that, they're normally kind of saying these things are all safe and grand. Whereas if you ask a different question, why are they dangerous? You get totally different results. So if you're doing any research, I reckon look at both sides and don't attack, because in the world we live in, if somebody has a different opinion, people, they'll say, hey, this person's a conspiracy theorist. That's what they do, and they'll just attack. And even if you respond and give information proven, Like, there's a freedom of information of the UK about the chemtrails. They've actually admitted they're doing it to block out the sun. And yet you try to tell that the person, I mean, we've copies of that, they don't want to know. But the thing is, the information is there once you investigate it thoroughly and check the books, because there's lots of, I mean, you're reviewing a load of books. There's a lot of books out there. It's, who wrote it, who's benefiting from it, where's the information coming from. So you have to do your research. And like regarding people that are actually telling information, I would say to them, don't let it get to you if you're attacked. Because I mean, to me, I've got so many things. I've got my YouTube for The Awakening was removed. I got Linktree removed. They removed me from LinkedIn at one stage. I got podcasts even removed. And they're doing that because the information that I'm sharing is correct. Because you can see all the negativity is pushed out there. There's so many people that are promoting gambling, no problem. They're promoting debt and all this stuff. That's all allowed. All toxic products and everything, it's all allowed. Yet when I put out something, because I'm telling what's going on and how you can help yourself, they remove it. Like, that doesn't make sense. So when they do that, you kind of go, what's the reason for that? And it's because the information that we're sharing makes the world a better place. And so all I say is, if you are doing that kind of thing, don't let the haters affect you. Just, you either, if it's not too bad, you can explain your point of view. But if it's negative, just remove it. If it's really nasty, report it. Because if you do that, you're removing somebody, sometimes they're trolls or whatever, from the social media platform, so they're not attacking somebody else. Because unfortunately, and I've seen a lot of podcasters, I've seen a lot of people that are kind of trying to make the world a better place, and they can't handle that, and they throw in the towel. They just give up and they say, all right, I'm not doing this no more. And that's a shame. So if you have a mission and you know what you're doing is correct, go all in.
So, Mr. Roy, what will be your advice for those people out there who want to be aware or want to be awakened of what's happening to the world?
Just be curious about everything. Don't, because we've been conditioned all our life, start asking the question, why do I think this way? Don't accept things for as they are. So even if we look at the judicial system, and this happens all over the world. I've seen it in America, it happens in the UK, it happens in Ireland, it happens in Poland. When a political party changes, the judicial party, the top level judges change. That proves the system is incorrect. That should never happen, because they're looking after their own, so they don't get their own people in trouble. So just ask yourself all these different things. Watch everything you do. So for me, what I've kind of learned for being in, I had over 100 court cases. I saw corruption. Like at one stage, I was in Ireland and there's like 100 cases going on at once. And one of the people there said we were overcharged €15,000 on our mortgage. KPMG done assessed it, and the judge said, when was that? 2 years ago. Oh, you should have took it up with them. Ruled in favor of the bank plus interest plus penalties. And you can see so many different things like that. And what I've learned is, learn your sovereignty, learn whether you say common law, UCC, natural law, and learn the power of the signature. Because every single thing that happens, they ask you to write your signature. Like jaywalking. If you're walking in front of a car, yeah, great, you deserve to get a fine, if the car has to brake. But if there's no car coming and the lights are red and you have to wait for 5 minutes before you cross the road, that doesn't make sense. So then they actually come along and they give you 200 zlotys in Poland, whatever, $200, fine. And it's like, who's the injured party? There's no injured party. So it's a financial thing. And what they always do, they get signed that. When you sign it, you're basically going, yeah, I accept this, and then they can claim the money off you. So learn the power of your signature. And when they're writing to you, they'll write to you, like me, or yourself. It'd be like, Mr., all capitals, Daniel, Lucas, Roy Coughlan, all capitals. That's not you, that's the corporate entity. And when you learn that, you learn the power that we've got, because it's all about financial. Like if you look at the homelessness, it's all caused by the city and the government. It's very rare that somebody just decides to go homeless. They go through something. If you have the conversations, it's they've been beaten left, right, and center. They've had no one to help them on the thing, and then they're thrown out. And a lot of the time, it's caused by the city. And then they're trying to go, how do we stop homelessness? Let's build these little houses, mini houses. Let's do this, let's do that. Take everything layers. That's like saying you have a rash in your hand and you put cream on your hand. What caused the rash? And do the same with every single thing you look at. What caused this? And you just take off the layers, and usually it's the same people at the top causing everything.
Certainly. So thank you for your advice, Mr. Roy. So what will be your short-term and long-term goals as a podcaster as well as an author?
I think my whole mission with all my shows is to make the world a better place. So, like, I have a speaking one. It's because for people to get their message out, I'm giving tips on the speaking, meditation, helping people relax, there's breath work, because there's so many people going through stress and anxiety, and that kind of helps them. And all of my podcasts are kind of with a benefit, like you see, the podfathers for podcasters like you, with tips for podcasters or people looking to start, because I want people to stay in the game instead of listening to the media, which we know is regurgitated lies. This way, podcasters get their information out, and more people are actually going to do that. The crypto is about exposing the fraud in crypto and rug pulls and everything, but I also get a lot of people on explaining what they're doing in their system. And like, I talk about things I've spotted, like Binance. I spotted their document was incorrect. It wasn't signed properly. So there's things that the information is given, but they're all like your own. They're all free shows to just try to help people. And the purpose of the books is the same thing. It's just kind of, like my aim is, once it's out, the digital and the audio, because they're not printed versions, I'll have way cheaper, because it's something that I find very strange, that if something is sent digitally, you're not printing it. You should get it way cheaper, like, because you understand the printing cost, the postage cost. But if something is just sent digitally, why are you paying the same amount of price? So that it will be a lot cheaper for digital stuff.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Roy, and congratulations. And thank you so much for empowering the world. And what are the risks of speaking out against government and corporate injustice?
Sorry, what other ways is it?
What are the risks?
Oh, the risks. Well, I mean, censorship, shadow ban, that kind of thing. In the UK, they've arrested something like 3,000 and plus because of doing that. So you kind of put yourself out there, but once you learn your sovereignty, they'll come and you'll understand what's a proper warrant. If there's documentation about your data breach, you'll understand that. And what I would suggest is get a few people together. Try to, don't be on your own standing there. Get a few people that don't like what's going on, whether it's the crazy fogs that are going on all around the world. I mean, and even like, if you have a message, if you know of something that you can do, even if you're working for a corporation, and most of the people, they're afraid of losing their job because they have a mortgage and they're trying to keep food on the table. But you can always get the information to people, even without, if you can prove the information is correct, you can get to likes of me or other podcasters and share the information that's exposing it, and that's how you stop it. If you don't like what's going on, that's the thing. Like, it's like, don't ever think this is just the way it is. Anything that you feel is not right, stand up and make sure that they know that you're not accepting it. And most people, like the amount of people that come up to me about my Awakening podcast, that thank me for what I'm doing, but yet don't comment because they're afraid to comment. And it's like, don't be afraid, because if you're afraid, they'll just keep doing it.
Yes.
So don't be afraid. And if you feel like, okay, just get 3 people together. All right, this is what we're doing, and then build on that. And that 3, each person gets in 3. That's how you build a group, and just stick together. Never attack anyone. You know, just because someone has a different belief system, even when they were doing, I call it the poison dart because I learned I can't even say that word or it'll be removed. But there's people in houses that were fighting each other because of that. And it's just accept someone has a different belief system. Someone was told a lie. They believe everything that, say, someone in a white coat or television told them, and they think that's okay. So don't you attack them for the way they think, and don't allow them to attack you. Better to have a conversation why you believe what you do and why you came to the conclusion and what's happening. You can say, look, I had so many poison darts all through my life until I started looking at this, I started looking at that. And when you can have them conversations, instead of fighting with people in the house or your neighbor or your cousins, you get back to the way it used to be, where it's all about love, having fun, enjoying life, and not having them and us, because that's what they want. They want the ants, the black and the red ants fighting each other while they actually be on top. Don't do that. If we all stick together, it all stops. And like if we look at all the different battles, like I heard just recently about the honey in Poland, that they're trying to stop all the natural honey growers, and they're, giving them certificates saying, oh, it's not passing for safety reasons because they're buying it way cheaper abroad. And they're having their own little battle, all the honey growers. And there's other people having their battles, and like in the UK, the chickens, that they don't want that happen either. And if everybody who's having their little battles come together, you have a bigger organization that stands up and says no. But what happens is when the honey guy is having his problem, you say that's not my problem, and you walk away. The chicken guy's having his chicken, and then it comes to you, and you go, hey, why isn't anybody helping me? And that's how we stop it. We have to kind of stand together when we see something that's totally wrong, instead of just kind of going, it's not my problem.
The truth will set you free, people. So before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Roy, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, in its fifth season, people. Fifth season with Chef Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letters senders all over the world. So please do listen Food 101 wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Roy, what is the ultimate vision of the New World Revolution, and how can people contribute to making it a reality?
It's just understand when you were born, you were a free person, and somebody thought they can control you. So stand in your freedom, your sovereignty, and just make little changes. Don't overwhelm yourself. Change the soap, change the shampoo, change your belief system on who you think has power over you. And when you see them abusing their power, call it out. If you see the teacher doing it, if you see a policeman doing it, if you see a judge doing it, call it out. Don't tolerate it. Because when you call something out, the other people don't get the abuse that you just did.
Certainly. Mr. Roy Cullen, again, thank you so much for empowering us and being aware of what we are doing. Thank you for your knowledge, and we are looking forward for more and more and more episodes and more books to empower us. So can you please invite our listeners to support all your podcasts as well as your upcoming book, New World Revolution: The Awakening?
Yeah, everything. You'll find all my podcasts and all my businesses, and the book will be there, roycoughlan.com.
Yes, indeed. Let's support Mr. Roy Cullen, because if you support him, as I said, more and more empowering episodes and more empowering books to come. So, Mr. Roy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.